Hello class, Professor Smith here. Let's talk about unit vectors. This is a way to describe vectors in Cartesian coordinate space. And a unit vector is a dimensionless vector. There's no units, there's no value of numbers. And it has a magnitude equal to 1. Okay, and that's why it's called a unit vector, because it's equal to 1. And the only thing that unit vectors do is they just specify direction. Okay? They specify the direction that you're moving. Now, in our Cartesian coordinate system, we said that you have x, you have y, and you have z. So we want to correspond unit vectors that line up with these. Here's the ones we're going to choose, okay? So we're going to choose I, j, and k. Now we're going to write them as I hat, j cat, and k hat. Okay, this thing right here, this thing is called a hat. It just means that it is a unit vector. Okay, so it is a vector, but it only has a magnitude of 1. All right, so anytime you're along the x-axis, you use the I hat. If you're on the y-axis, you use the j hat. All right, so let's draw a coordinate system here. And let's try the following. I'm going to give you a point right here. Let's say that is point 5, 4. Okay? Now that is 5 out in the x direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it is 4 up in the y direction. So, how do I write that vector? And let's call it vector A. And how do I write this in terms of unit vectors? And if somebody knows, just raise your hand and shout it out. Oh, no. You just had a scratch. And so how do I write the vector A in terms of unit vectors? Any thoughts? Here, I'll do the hard part for you, okay? Okay, 2 dimensions, this is 1. There's something that's going to go in front of the I hat, and there's something else that's going to go in front of the j hat. A sub x and a sub y. That sounds fantastic. And in fact, for the problem that we just identified, can we say exactly what those a sub x's and those a sub y's are? So what would you write? What's the next line that I should put here? Where would a sub x I go? Which axis? The x-axis or the y-axis? Okay, so it's on the x-axis, so how long do we go along on the x-axis? 5. Okay, and so if this is 5, what does the other one have to be? 4. That's what this vector is. So that's how you write it. So it's 5 I hat plus 4 j hat. It just means let's move 4 in the 4 units in the y direction and 5 in the I hat direction. So that's what these two things mean. And that is this vector right here. It starts at the origin, goes up to that point, 5, comma 4. Okay, so is everybody okay with that thus far? All right, good. So that is unit vectors.